Hey guys, Cyber Dragon here, bringing you guys the 300 sub special. So yeah, I'm recording this at my grandmother's house currently. She asked me to watch over her dogs and stuff, so I offered to. So that's why I'm recording it at here. But hey, that means most likely no interruptions. So, yeah. I want to thank you guys for getting me up to 300 subscribers. I know we still have a long ways to go, and so does these mini-series. We'll be recording Hulk and or Carnage tomorrow. So, yeah. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. So, the beginning of the story is we are with Inka Midoriya at this moment. She figured out she learned that she was pregnant. Hasashi loved her though, a long time ago. During the 9 months of pregnancy, she was very ill. Such childbirth would kill her. And that saddened her. That it's possible for her own child to catch this illness that she has. She will most likely die, so she is praying to anyone out there who is listening to make sure her child will survive, even if she doesn't. As the birthing process is already done, the doctors notice that Izuku even has the same disease that Inko has. Inko died after the moment Izuku was born. Although she was able to hold her child for a brief moment before death and give him his name, Izuku. Then she died with her baby crying in the dead mother's arms. The doctors estimate that Izuku won't survive for very long, so they'll monitor him as long as he can. And to note that he does have the green eyes and hair currently, but he is just very sickly at the moment. So they placed him in one of those baby crib things. I'm not really sure what they are called, so to monitor him. He can go any day now, they said. During one of the nights when it seemed like he could die that day, some black substance come from the ceiling, from an air vent, going down to Izuku. Sensing that this child could die, the symbiote want to try to bond with it to see if it can help the child. And such, even possibly bond with it, making a perfect symbiosis. To the symbiote's surprise, that he is a perfect symbiote, he's a perfect host for for them. But in order to keep this child alive, the symbiote has to combine with the white blood cells that is in his DNA. As such, is rewriting Izuku's DNA entirely, changing his hair and eyes, his hair to a white, and his eyes to more of an orangish red, or a red, kind of like the picture, kind of like anti-venom. And his skin is a bit more pale now too. It is the next day now. The doctors are baffled seeing that Izuku has changed completely. They think, "Doctor, what is this?" "I don't know. It could be possibly his quirk." So, and in some cases the doctors say in some cases, near-death experiences could awaken a child's quirk or a person's quirk. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I realized I forgot display brightness was off. But yeah, so back what I was saying. So near-death experiences that a quirk could be activated, but not this early on in his life. So, well, what do we do with him now? We didn't suspect him to live, and we don't really know if he had any family members. Seems true. I suppose we have to put him up for adoption. I guess this is a miracle child, after all. So this hit the news immediately. The child who survived who awakened his quirk on the near-death experience at this age of 1 week old. It has become wide news, hitting UA even. They find it fascinating that a child this young could awaken his quirk and is not even a mutation. But on the inside, the symbiote that is in him doesn't really talk. I know anti-venom isn't really a talkative symbiote, so anti-venom won't really be talking. Just telling him like when danger is nearby, the Spidey sense type stuff. And to also let you guys know what other abilities anti-venom has, he does have superhuman strength, speed, and agility, just like the other symbiotes. But his healing is beyond the other symbiotes. He can make antitoxins to any diseases that's come in him, or any impurities. That is how he got the name anti-venom. And they even did a quick test on him. Anti-venom actually combined with the child's quirk gene. So he will actually be a permanent part of So Izuku and anti-venom are permanently bond. Even if anti-venom was removed in such a way, he would kind of like how Carnage is. He's bonded to blood, but anti-venom is bonded by quirk gene. So he will be more or less permanent. And yeah, so they do send him to an orphanage eventually, after he was under stable conditions. They even named his quirk anti-venom, or perfect healing. This news does reach to All For One, however, thinking this is a very curious case. A child who is on near-death experience, woken up a quirk at this age. He thinks he should keep an eye on him just in case. Now, we do a bit of a time skip. He is now 4 years old, the point when everyone else would awaken their quirk. He isn't bullied as much, per se. Like, there's some people who would definitely bully him off of his appearance. And because of this, he also kind of has a neutral attitude to things. Since the anti-venom is generally a heroic person I've seen, and the anti-venom itself is not very talkative, neither is Izuku. Izuku figured out this ability of his is not a quirk. It is something alive, but he doesn't really mind it. Matter of fact, he thinks it's cool that he's a bit more unique than most, but he doesn't rub it in anyone's faces. So yeah. But this is still the time when other kids would awaken their quirks. He does know Koski. Or he doesn't call him Kachan because he doesn't see him as a big friend. He's like, oh yeah, he's some kid I know. So, when he woke in his quirk, he started immediately picking on Deku. He even gave him the name Deku. And he like, whatever. Later, Bakugo. Get back here, you damn Deku. Sir, I'm gonna be the #1 hero someday, and I want to see which one of us is stronger, you or me, with your weird quirk. I'm not really in the mood. Plus, who says you can become the #1 hero? Just because you seem to have a flashy quirk. So, it doesn't matter. If there's always going to be someone better than you. And you might as well train for that day when you are in a life or death situation. So, whatever, you weirdo. So at least, I still have a parent. And Deku, he acts like he doesn't care about that one, but deep down, he wished he could have at least met his mother. Unfortunately, she did die again during the birthing process. So, and his orphanage life isn't great either. Some of the kids do bully him. Some kids he thinks he's cool, cause he kind of looks like this. This is what Deku looks like. He has pale skin, as I mentioned, the reddish-orangish eyes, and the white hair. And as such, he hasn't shown the full-body suit. He has admitted the suit a couple times, but he doesn't really care. It has now been a couple days since Bakugo worked in his quirk. He constantly keeps challenging Deku to fight him. Till Deku finally had enough, like, fine, I'll fight you. But after this, I don't want to hear any more about this. It's honestly annoying how much you want to keep fighting me. So, finally, we're going to see who's stronger. So, every kid around him is excited to see this bakugo is ready to put Deku in his place because Deku, Bakugo thinks oh, you think you're so cool because you're working your quirk at a young age and shit. Well, my quirk is going to be so much cooler. So then, your weird quirk's whatever, let's just get this over with. So they begin to fight. Bakugo constantly throwing explosions everywhere. But Deku is just dodging. Goddamn. Anyways, he constantly trying to hit Deku with explosions, but Deku is dodging them expertly, moving slightly to the left, to the right, and Bakugo is thinking, what the hell? How is he doing this? And yeah, the Spidey sense and anti-venom is really powerful, especially if you keep a cool attitude about this. So yeah. Eventually, Bakugo gets even angrier and starts throwing more larger explosions. Deku thinks, okay, he's going to seriously hurt someone if I don't stop this now. So I might as well end this quickly. So he goes into a full body transformation. Not full anti-venom, but more or less like this. He finally transformed into his suit, Just less spikes, on the shoulders and not so claw-like on the hands. He does have the white spider symbol though. That is something I do like. Bakugo thinks, what the hell? Was he holding back? And he gets even angrier. Before he can even let out another explosion, Deku clocks Bakugo in the nose and knocking him out. Then D transforms there, I gave you your fight. Now stop being so ignorant about your strength and actually train. So, you've seen plenty of other heroes on the street. They have useful quirks, but that's all they rely on. I don't rely on my quirk. I rely on my skills and my quirk. Which he does. He exercises without the symbiote on him and trains a little bit. Everyone thinks Deku's the strongest because he beat Bakugo in one punch. But realistically, Deku doesn't really care. He doesn't care about the fame or glory about this. But people still don't really like him as much. And Deku doesn't really care, but seemed like he doesn't really care, but he does in some matter of case. So, it is now a month later. Bakugo keeps constantly re-challenging him. He keeps saying no. Like, I told you I would only fight you once and that's it. And Bakugo said, I don't care, I want to fight you again. And he just keeps denying him. One night, Deku goes out of the orphanage. No one in the orphanage really cares much for Deku. Some do, but you know, they just don't at the same time. He goes out at night, just wandering around. And then some low-tier villains comes around the corner, like some thugs and shit. Say, hey kid, give us everything you got now before we kill you. So, I'm not really in the mood for tonight. Can you guys just leave me alone? So, what is up with this kid? You're not phased? He pulls out a knife then, like, come on kid, this is serious. Give us everything you got now. Saying, no, I'm good. Let's go mark someone else. Azawa is actually in the area seeing this. Too, like, should I help him? Or I want to see where this goes. So, last chance. Give us everything you got now or we'll kill you. I mean, you guys are really persistent. I'll just take you down here now. Again, transform into a suit. Just want to end this quickly this time. And they're like, what the hell? So this is quirk? And Deku begins to fight them. Doing some agility, kind of like Azawa would do, and starts swinging them around with his webs. I'm going to say they're more or less organic webs, so yeah. And Azawa is thinking, man, this kid has some actual talent. But I probably should stop him. For using his quirk. And there was only 2 guys, so he beat them pretty easily. Told them, like, okay, you 2, now I'm gonna go. So, yeah. Aizawa comes down and think, hey kid. Think, again. He turns around and sees as a pro hero, like, oh, you're Eraserhead, aren't you? Like, yeah, how do you know that? Saying, oh, I am actually a bit of a fan of you. I don't see any videos of you, but I do know of you. I've seen you go out and patrol at night at times. Saying, really? So, how come I've never seen you? So, oh, most of the time I just stay out of your way. I know your time is more important than some fan to come and bother you. He thinks, like, this kid is alright. So, kid, what are you doing out here so late? You should go home. Your parents must be worried about you. Deku replies by saying, I don't really have any parents. Like, what? Like, yeah. My father, I don't really know what happened to him, but my mother, she died giving birth to me. Says, I would have died too from the same cause as my mother, the same disease. But then my quirk awakened, and here I am now. Think, what is your quirk exactly? So, it's called anti-venom. So, basically, it can cure any type of diseases in my body. I never really get sick. It also gives me superhuman strength, agility, speed. And I can shoot out these webs and cover my whole body into this white suit. So, yeah. It also apparently altered my appearance when I was a baby, too. I didn't used to have red eyes and white hair and this pale skin. I used to have green eyes and green hair. So, yeah. So, then says, what do you want to be when you grow up, kid? So, I kind of want to be like you, a hero. A hero that doesn't need the fame or glory, just someone to protect everyone. Just doing the job of a hero. Because heroes nowadays are more in it for the fame and glory of it. I'm in it just to help people. So, Alright, kid. And I got one more question for you. So, shoot. So, where's your orphanage at? That's right. I'm making Azara adopt Deku. Like, what? So, why do you want to know that? So, it's because you interest me, kid. What if I adopted you and you'd be my, well, legal son-in-law? Son. Like, you're serious? Like, why would you want to adopt someone like me? Like, I see potential in you, kid. And I wouldn't normally say that. Heck. So I don't really see much potential in the class I teach at UA. So most of the time I would have to expel a kid or an entire class at times. So me seeing potential in you at this age really impresses me. So where's your orphanage at? Like, alright, I'll tell you. So he gives him the address of the orphanage and saying, okay, I'm going to finish up my nightly patrol, and in the morning I'll come by the orphanage, and I'll see the legal matters for you. Saying, alright. So, oh, and by the way, what is your name? So, Izuku. Izuku Midoriya. So, actually, no, it's just Izuku. Say, you didn't even get your mother's last name? So, not really. Honestly, my mother only had time to name my first name. But after she died, they didn't really give me her last name for some weird reason. Alright. So, I'll see you then later, Zuko. And yeah, so it is the next day. Azara goes over to the same orphanage. Oh, hello, sir. Can we help you with anything? Yeah, I'm here to adopt a kid. Great. We have plenty of kids you can choose from. Not necessary. I've already met the kid I want to adopt. Okay. Who is it? A kid named Izuku. Izuku? Why do you want to adopt him? Is there a problem with me adopting him? No offense, sir, but he's not really a social kid. Honestly, I don't know if he has any friends in general. He seems to not be interested in much, honestly. I see. Well, I don't really care. I talked to him yesterday, and he seemed to be interested in me, at least. Really, now? He never really shown interesting to anyone. Especially All Might of all people. So, when we asked him why he wasn't interested, he said he should seem like a oversized clown who isn't in it for the fame. Nothing else. Well, still, I would like to adopt him. They tried to convince him out of it, but he finally said, look, I do not care what you guys say. I want to adopt him. Is that understood? he is activating his quirk because he is getting upset. This process is taking forever. And like, wait, are you the underground hero Razorhead? Saying, yes, that's me. Saying, okay then, right this way. They go to do the proper paperwork and fill out whatever they need to, and he does pay the money. Now, so Izuku takes the last name Aizawa, so he's Izuku Aizawa now. Although he doesn't want to co-star on Aizawa's last name at any time. But yeah. Aizawa then tells Izuku, like, alright, Izuku. So, since ever I mostly go out at night and teach during the day, you'll be living at UA with me at times. I do think Aizawa lives at UA, because I think he just does in general. So, alright. So, let's go then. He's like, this kid. He interests me a lot. So, despite the fact that he's not very social, I don't really mind that. I might need to help him on that aspect, though. He does need to talk to other people. Times. So yeah, they go to UA and he knocks on Nezu's door. Like, oh, come in. So, Aizawa comes in with Izuku next to him. Like, Aizawa. So, what brings you here today? So, hello there, Nezu. I'm here to introduce you to my new son. Like, oh, you have a son now? Like, yes. His name is Izuku. I gave him my last name, so he'll be living here with me at UA. So, oh, alright. Well then, can I talk to him, for a bit? Like, sure. Like, hello there, Izuku. So, hold on, I'm drawing a blank at the moment. Like, my name is Principal Nezu. And it's a pleasure to meet you. So, it's a pleasure to meet you too, sir. Now, so I am curious, Aizawa, why did you adopt him? So, I've never seen you taking any particular interest in kids beforehand. Thing. Like, it's simple. I see great potential in him. He seems to be, kind of like me in a way. Say, really? So, yeah. He might be a great hero someday. He's not in it for the fame like me. He's just in it to protect the civilians. What a true hero should be for. Say, that is peculiar. That is very interesting. What is his quirk exactly? Aizawa goes to explain it, and Nezu like, that is a very interesting quirk. So, I believe I remember hearing an article about how a kid survived a disease similar to that, though. Am I wrong? Saying, no. You're quite right, sir. I am that kid. My quirk awakened at that moment of almost death, so, yeah. Deku is going with the case that this is his quirk, not a sentient being of sort. You're like, very interesting. Well, so we hope to accept you into UA one day whenever you come up to age. Saying, alright, I'll be looking forward to that day. And from therefore, Izuku is living at UA. He's being trained by Aizawa to fight, and Aizawa realizes he has a keen aptitude for this. Not only that, but he has a great mind. So, Nezu will mostly take the part of teaching him, for the most part, while Midnight, President Mike, and everyone else at UA will kind of be like Izuku's family, in a way. Midnight would kind of take the maternal role for Izuku. And Midnight doesn't really mind that. She actually likes the kid a bit. And everyone makes comments about how Izuku is kind of like Aizawa. And Izuku has even kind of got the habit of sleeping during class, too. Or it's just sleeping wherever. He doesn't have the sleeping bag, but he has something different. What do I mean? I mean by he will just stick on the ceiling and wrap himself in that symbiote like a cocoon and so sleep up on the ceiling. Or wherever he wants, realistically. He doesn't really care. But if it's inside a building, it'll mostly be on the ceiling or on the wall in general. Anywhere he can basically just wrap himself up in his symbiote. Which people find a bit hilarious. And yeah, Deku does get sleep deprived too, like Aizawa does. Because if you had to go nighttime work and work during the day teaching students, you need to find time whenever you can sleep. So yeah. I am going to hit you guys with a bit of a time skip. We go to the point of the canon. Deku doesn't really go to Bakugo school, and honestly, Deku is even smarter than in canon. I won't say he's as smart as Nezu, because Nezu at some point then cut himself off so Deku can learn more stuff at UA, so he can, kind of just be a regular student like everyone else whenever he does attend. But Deku does learn a lot more. He does learn different fighting styles and even adopted Aizawa's traditional fighting style. He also did mention about how his quirk can also adapt by taking abilities of quirks and adding it to himself. So Aizawa lets him take a bit of, let the symbiote go into him and come out of him to give Deku the ability to cancel out quirks. He doesn't go to make it go to his eyes though. No, he just makes it go to the symbiote itself. So he can wrap it around someone or go into someone to cancel out their quirk. He can also slightly modify quirks too, if he so chooses. But yeah, he primarily only takes quirks that he seems useful in certain cases, or just overall he kind of likes. Which is so far just like Aizawa's quirk. Because he doesn't really want Nezu's quirk, because he is pretty smart without it. And President Mike's, he thinks he's too loud, plus the symbiote is still sensitive to loud sounds. Midnight's quirk he doesn't really take, because, well, he can pretty much negate the effects of her quirk, and he can possibly even make the same substance as Midnight already. So yeah. And no one else really at UA interests him with quirk-wise. He might take one or two quirks, but I'm not sure what those two quirks should other be. So I want you guys to comment down below what the other two quirks should be, in a sense, like for UA-wise. So, yeah. But so far it's just Aizawa's quirk basically he copied. Because that's his dad there. He even starts to call him Dad, which Aizawa doesn't really mind. He is technically his father, and Izuku even calls Midnight Mother, or Mom. Because, as I said, she took in the role of maternal-wise. So yeah, basically, Izuku's parents is Midnight and Aizawa. So yeah, we go to canon date. Izuku doesn't go to Bakugo school, he just walks around UA, learning whatever he can, which he's pretty damn smart. And he just primarily even just sticks around at Zara's class, because, yeah, he likes Zara a lot. He is his father, after all. Azara comes in to, goes to talk to Izuku, Izuku, yeah, Dad? So, you want to go to UA, don't you? It's of course. That's where you teach at, and I've seen the students you pumped out. You're a damn good teacher. Even though you expelled an entire class last semester, I do agree that there's not really any potential in them too, though. So, good eye then. Well then, I want to see how far you gotten without. I want to see how far you can get without relying on any heroes at the school. I want you to train by yourself for the next 10 months and study on your own for the next 10 months. How do you think of that? Say, I'll accept your challenge. And I'm assuming that you won't give me a recommendation? Of course. I don't approve of recommendations as much. So, I do think Azara wouldn't really like recommendations a lot. He does seem like the type of person who doesn't really like them, but he'll still accept them. But for his son's case, he doesn't want to send his son out there if he's not ready. So, alright, I'll accept your challenge. But let me go out first. I kind of want to explore the city around for a bit. Not only that, to pick up some food. Alright. Will you pick me up a drink? Sure. So, and Izuku heads out of UA. A lot of the students know him. The Big Three knows him especially. He even helped Tamaki, Nijore, and Mirio some tips and tricks for them to do. So they actually like Izuku a lot. And yeah. Even though Izuku doesn't really talk, he does talk to the Big Three. He sees a lot of potential in them, so yeah. He primarily only talks to people he either likes himself or he has a lot of potential. Or other pro heroes, which he has met a lot. So yeah. Izuku is walking underneath the underpass where the sludge villain was at. You're alright. The convenience store should be close by now. As he gets a little sense, something's about to attack him, he dodges immediately. And the sludge villain is you have an interesting quirk there, kid. I want to take your body now. I'm going to take your body now. This is annoying. I better cancel out his quirk and call the authorities. So, he transforms into his suit again. He will transform into the whole anti-venom when the situation is very serious. How this picture looks, he will transform into the whole anti-venom. But this will just be a skin layer suit for him. So, yeah. So, the sludge villain starts charging at him. Deku jumps above him, lands on top of the roof, the ceiling of the building, or the bridge, and fires a couple of webs at him, or a tendril at it, the sludge villain, piercing inside of it, wrapping a bit of the symbiote inside, and deactivating his quirk. Because I do believe that's a meta-type quirk, if I'm not wrong. Or a transformation, actually. I'm not 100% sure. So it deactivates the quirk, making him just a normal guy. And if I'm wrong here, it will just... Well, actually, yeah. Just in case, I will just say it makes the sludge villain stop moving for a certain amount of time right now. He's what the hell? What happened? Saying, I paralyzed you and turned off your quirk. So in a sense. You'll be moving again in the next 5 minutes, but that should be plenty of time for me to bottle you up and turn you into the proper authorities. So he does. They're like, no, where am I going to find a hero in this time? Then he hears a laugh coming from behind him. Ha ha ha, have no fear, because I am here? He's like, it's All Might. Great, I guess he will be an okay choice. Like, young man, have you seen a particular villain come by here? Like, oh, you're talking about this guy? Like, yes. How did you, like, I stopped him before he after he attacked me. I deactivated his quirk in a sense, and he would be paralyzed for the next 4 minutes and 13 seconds. So I'll probably bring him to the authorities as fast as I can. If I were you, All Might. You're like, oh, that's like a very interesting quirk you have there, young man. Max, what it is? Like, okay. So he explains what his quirk does, and he's like, that is very impressive, young man. Like, thanks. By the way, shouldn't you be on your way now? Like, yes, of course. Would you like my autograph out, though? Like, no thanks. I honestly could go without it. Like, what? Like, yeah, I'm not really into heroes like you, per se, who's kind of a big thing. I'm more into the more underground-based heroes, like my dad. Like, who's your father? Like, Shotai Azawa, a.k.a. Eraserhead. Like, your father is the Eraserhead? Like, yep. Now, if you excuse me, I'm gonna go and get some food. And, like, alright. And All Might jumps away. He thinks, who is that kid exactly? So, I'm, like, he may be a good successor for my quirk then. Which, during this time, All Might was not paying attention, and the sludge villain fell out of his pocket. On the Deku's way back to UA with some food he has, he sees there's a commotion of sorts. Like, what now? He goes to check it out and seeing it's the sludge villain again. And this time he has a hostage. Like, should I leave this up to the heroes that's on the scene now? Or should I do it myself? Because this is seriously causing an uproar. Till he notices the heroes aren't really doing anything. Like, okay, I better do this on my own then. So, he puts the bags down and transforms into his anti-venom suit. He jumps in. People are like, who are you? Like, obviously, I'm not, like, kid, what are you doing here? Like, doing the job that you guys aren't, apparently. Now, if you excuse me, I am going to save that kid in there. He goes jumping towards him. The sludge villain like, it's you again. This time I got a body I can defeat you with. Get out of here. He throws an explosion at him with Bakugo's quirk. I know those explosions. He definitely remembers Bakugo. And Bakugo still remembers him. Anytime they meet up on the streets, Bakugo is trying to challenge him. Because I will say it happens every now and again. Not too often, though. But, yeah. So, Deku dodges them all and shoots a web into the sludge villain, grabbing Bakugo out and throwing him to the heroes. He's not going to go full anti-venom for this, but he will still put effort into it, even in this form. Like, alright, let's finish the job. He transforms his hands into the claws, you see. And he slashes at him, so paralyzing him with a bit of a neurotoxin he has made to cancel out his quirk. So he falls apart again. This time I upped the ant purge to make it for 10 minutes. Hopefully there will be enough time now. As they finally got the fires under control and put the sludge villain away, the news media immediately starts heading towards Deku. Like, young man, who are you? What is your quirk? And such. And like, I'm not really here to answer any of your questions. If you excuse me, I would like to go home. The heroes try to recommend him, but Deku simply said, why should I be recommended for something you clearly couldn't do? You were waiting for a person with the right quirk to come along, so I clearly came along, did I not? So he just grabbed the bags and walked off. Bakugo, like, it's you again, Deku. Like, Bakugo. So I heard you were going into UA. Like, how did you know? Like, I have my ways. He doesn't like to brag the fact that his father is Aizawa, but he will say it to certain heroes. Like All Might, for example. He said it too. Because he has heard All Might is teaching at UA, so he doesn't see the point of hiding that fact, if it will happen sooner or later. Like, well, I better head out now. The heroes try to stop him, but All Might, like, wait, there. He did no wrong here. Matter of fact, he did better than what most pros could have done. Then all eyes went to All Might. Like, it's All Might, it's All Might. Everyone immediately ran to him to get an interview with him. Deku thinks, like, well, if there's one thing that guy is useful for, is to keep the media off of me, at least. I better head home now. When the dad saw the news. Which, after he got there, Aizawa said, so, you stopped a villain today, huh? Like, yep, and apparently All Might, this wasn't the first time I did it either. Apparently All Might dropped him or something like that. Like, that's concerning. Wonder why he escaped from his custody in the first place. He kinda knows about he does know the time limit, but he doesn't tell Izuku. He trusts him, but he doesn't want to reveal a secret to, like, All Might's secret to him. He's more trustworthy with that. And he doesn't feel like it's his place to say it. Like, yeah. Well, I'm gonna eat and go to bed. So, I'm gonna be training hard for the next 10 months and studying. And what Izuku looks like at his teenage, I forgot to say. He looks like this. The long hair, the red eyes, just make them more like these eyes than the eyes you see in this picture. Nope, not that one. This picture, so. And he does normally wear white, gray, or black. But yeah. How long has this video been going for? Okay, so, yeah, I'm gonna say Deku does train at Dagobah Beach. He, like, I probably should work on my body a bit more. I figured this could be a good opportunity to do so. As such, he does. All Might doesn't really look for Izuku. He knows he will meet him in UA. He did say Aizawa's name, and he does know that Aizawa does teach at UA, so yeah, he doesn't really mind to wait to meet him. So Deku just cleans up the beach for the next 10 months. If I gave him one fall, which I'm not planning on to, because why would I? I don't really want to do that for the symbiote series. I'm gonna do, like, for Carnage, anti-venom, and whenever I do it, Venom. But yeah, so so Deku does train for the 10 months there. Percentage wise, if he gets one for all, which again he doesn't, he can control up to 15%. So he has a lean, muscular look to him. But yeah, he is well built. Now, he just wakes up during like a random time of the day, like 10 minutes before the test starts. I'm gonna say he does just live at the dorm system. Like, alright, let's just get this over with. He just puts on whatever comfy clothes, kind of like Aizawa would wear, to the entrance exam. People are noticing him like, man, is that kid gloomy and such? Like, yeah, no, right? And yeah, he goes to the written portion. He does good at it. He doesn't get Momo's level of, like, he's not first, but he's definitely in the top 5. At least. And that is the benefit of learning from many pro heroes and one of the smartest beings on the planet. But again, Nezu didn't teach him for that long. So, yeah. After that is the robot portion. First the explanation of the physical part. Deku says he was actually the first one to finish, but he was not the top scorer. So he saw President Mike like, hey, President Mike, like, oh hey there, Izuku. Like, what do you, like, you already finished your test? Like, yep, now I'm going to take a nap. You and me both obviously know I know about the robots, so you don't really have to bother waking me up. Like, alright, so I'll see you later then. So good luck on the test. Like, thanks, President Mike. So he just goes to his seat, and he just sleeps. As I said, he did pick up his weird habit of sleeping, like Aizawa's weird habit, so. And then for simplicity's sake, Bakugo does sit next to Deku, like in canon. And he's like, oh, great, I have to sit next to this weirdo. And President Mike starts to explain the robots. When he gets to the portion, Ida has to be Ida, like says the stuff in canon, like about the 0-pointer, and then he points at Deku, like, and you there, if you're not taking this test seriously, then get out of here. He's pointing at sleeping Izuku. He's like, he doesn't really respond because he's still he's still sleeping, like, did you not hear me? I said get out of here if you're not taking this seriously. You're like, huh? What are you babbling on about? Like, you there. As I said, you aren't sleeping. If you're not taking this seriously, then get out of here. Izuku simply says, I already know about this. Like, it's not that hard to know. You go in, you take down robots, and obviously when President Mike is getting to the 0-pointer, he is going to say is an obstacle, something you might as well avoid. Like, preposterous, how could you know that? Like, because I pay attention to the brochures and whatnot. Like the guide and whatnot beforehand. So I don't have to listen to the same stuff that it should have been included in the information before. And President Mike, you know, he is right. 0-pointer is just an obstacle, something you should avoid. So, yeah, thank you, Izuku Midoriya, for explaining that part. Izuku Aizawa. Hey, thank you, Izuku. Like, no problem, President Mike. No, I'm gonna go and get ready. He just simply walks out, and President Mike, and that's it for the explanation now. You all go out there now. And, yeah. He is out there just sitting like, man, I'm eyeing most of the people around here. I do not see a whole lot of potential. That's like at all. And, yeah, he sees a girl nervous. I'm not sure if this is going to be Umaraka. I'm going to say this is more or less the ship. I'm wanting you guys to help me choose who the ship should be. But actually, you know what? For simplicity's sake, this is Umaraka. You're like, that girl is nervous. Might as well calm her down so that she doesn't screw up her own chances. Who knows? She might actually have some potential in her. And Deku did not meet Umaraka in same as in canon, because he lives with you and he's always kind of cool-headed, so as he's walking to the front to calm down Umaraka, Ida grabs on his shoulder and, you're gonna distract that girl up there, weren't you? Ruin her chance. Deku said, what are you talking about? So, mind your own damn business for once. First you interrupt during the explanation of President Mike. Now you are assuming that ruin someone's opportunity. So you really need to learn to hold your tongue. You know that? How dare you? Do you know who I am? He's like, no. And honestly, I don't really care. Names doesn't really matter. All that matters is your potential. And honestly, from what I've seen so far, I certainly doubt you have any, if you act like this. So, keep interrupting and keep holding up everyone. So I suggest that you focus on what you need to do, and I'll focus on what I need to do. And what I need to do is to make sure she doesn't ruin her own chances because of something so silly as being nervous for a test like this. So he just shoved Ida aside. Ida does not like him. And Deku goes up to Umaraka hey, you alright? Oh yeah, sorry, just that, I'm really nervous for this, and this is a really nerve-wracking test. Did you think? Nah, not really. So, simple advice for you. If you're nervous during a test, then you might be nervous during real combat. So, I suggest you try to get all of that out of your way now. And, because this could be the difference between life and death. So, it'd be better to get any jitters out now. So, how would I? Just breathe in and out. Just focus on nothing else but breathing to calm yourself. And she does, and wow, that really helped. Thank you. No problem. Now, just get ready for the test. If I know President Mike, he will not even do a countdown. Okay. And President Mike, as the door opens, that's where I'm going to leave it off. The door is just open, and I'm going to leave it off of that. I want you guys to tell me 2 other quirks he gets. Other than the anti-venom abilities and Aizawa's quirk, because those 2 is already in him. So, yeah. But, anyways, it seems like I got my last subscriber for the 300 sub, because I was waiting until I got the 300th one. So, yeah, and if you guys, I have an idea what I want to do for the ship, but I want to hear what you guys think the ship should be. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It may not seem as interesting at first, but don't worry. It will get interesting sooner or later. I hope you guys enjoy, and please do join my Discord. You get the announcements of what the next What If will be ahead of time now, before I post them. or like a few days before I do any of that. So, yeah, peace.